honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me stand on existing protocol. I'm just going to go through the activities of the agency to back up the already elaborated work that was presented by the minister. The Federal Road Maintenance Agency, as you all know, is the agency established solely for the effective and efficient maintenance of all federal roads in the country. Today, the agency will be dealing with about 35,000 kilometers of federal roads in the country. The current administration of the agency, since inception in 2011, put in place a strategic program as mandated by the Honorable Minister for the effective repair of all our roads that you know are already old and weak pavement, that have been unmaintained before the inception of the agency. These are pavements that were built that have exceeded, their design lifespan. But since the Federal Road Maintenance Agency was put in place, it became very tasking to ensure that strategic maintenance programs were sustained. Accordingly, we developed the program we refer to as the Rapid Road Recovery Blueprint. And after the approval of that blueprint, the program included, one, the flag off of the preventive maintenance program. The preventive maintenance program of our road maintenance outfit is to ensure that rather than wait for roads to develop major failure before you intervene, we do what we call sustainable surveillance, monitoring, and then intervention. And then, of course, when minor cracks occur in the road, they are properly sealed. When minor potholes occur, they are intervened, and repaired on time. And this is what has led to the achievement of the agency in this period. Secondly, we also established the Surveillance and Effective Monitoring Unit, acquired additional state-of-the-art road maintenance equipment we call the road patcher. If you go on federal roads currently, you see a lot of these road patchers that we have acquired, about 38 of them, distributed all over the country. As I speak, I'm sure the clips will be showing these patchers. We went on to reorganize the research and development unit of the agency. And after the reorganization, the unit was able to start to produce cold asphalt. The intention was for us to have the maintenance material that is scarce in most parts of the country all year round. So cold asphalt is easily available for the use of all our offices in the 36 states of the Federation. We also developed and established the Public Works Unit. Like in the past, the Public Works Unit used to be engaged in all our federal roads to ensure that areas that are exposed to drainage challenges, they provide little turnouts and maintain the roads regularly. And in the past, you also had the Public Works Unit that ensured that potholes are patched regularly. So what the agency did in reinstating the Public Works Unit in collaboration with the SHOPE program is to mobilize all Nigerians, youths along our corridors of roads, federal highways, to be maintaining roads routinely with the supervision of our various field offices. We also flagged off the Zero Pothole Initiative. This was done in 2012, and the objective was to ensure that all critical roads in the country, the economically viable routes, were free of pothole. As I speak with you, major routes like the corridor from Abuja to Kaduna to Kano, the corridor from Benin to Asaba, all through to Weri. These are roads that have been built, but the Zero Pothole Initiative ensures that routinely cracks are sealed, little potholes are patched, and on time. We commenced and sustained the reorientation and retraining of our engineers to ensure improved productivity and then embrace good work ethics. We also commenced the quarterly roads and projects monitoring program. We commenced the stakeholders initiative. This initiative made it possible for us to interact with all stakeholders in the road sector. For instance, we were meeting regularly with NATO, the petroleum tanker drivers to collaborate with them and take reports with respect to failures on our roads for proactive response. We established the Federal Roads Committee on Surveillance and Action Against Road Abuses. This was mentioned by the minister in his address, that in this country, it is surprising to find that tires are burnt on federal highways. Handrails, metallic handrails on our bridges are vandalized by hoodlums. Sometimes road markings are not there, and where you have even bridge handrails, they deface them with posters. So what we did was to establish in the interim a body we call the Federal Roads Committee on Surveillance and Action Against Road Abuses, FESCARA. This body works with members of the Nigerian Army Engineers, members of the Road Safety Corps, the Federal Ministry of Works Engineers, and all our zonal engineers in the respective zones of the Federation to stop as much as possible the habit of encroachment on federal highways. The photographs of some of the activities of the FESCARA is also shown on the screen. I will go straight to some of the achievements, major achievements of the agency. It is on record that within this period, in line with the federal government transformation agenda, we were able, on the mandate of Mr. President and then the guideline of the Honorable Minister, to move the turbine that was in Onne for a very long time through Onne, Port Harcourt, Aba, straight on to Kaduna, a distance of about 950 kilometers. We were mandated to ensure that that alignment was repaired and to be able to move the turbine. So you see the turbine and then the movement from Onne to Kaduna. Several of these roads, for instance, the routes, you will see the photographs of what the roads were, the actions during maintenance, and then the completed work. In the northwest zone, you have the Kano-Zaria Road. You have the emergency repair work and washout at kilometer 22 along Bagudu-Goje Road in Kebbi State. You also have in the southeast zone, general maintenance repair of sections along 9th Mile Oka Road. General maintenance repair of sections along Umuahia Bende Road. These are the slides you'll be seeing as we show the slides. In the North Central Zone, we have also shown on the slide the pothole patching along Makodi Boku Yandev Road. These are the operations that is in progress. Then that's the slide showing the intervention of the agency for the first time since establishment, the reconstruction of a bridge in Kolo Creek, a bridge that was fully barred and the place was not accessible. We have just been able to build that bridge. And for the first time since the agency was established, we also, through direct labor intervention, able to replace a 11-cell box culvert that collapsed between Kano-Kaduna alignment. That box culvert was replaced with a two-span bridge that was built in collaboration with Mrs. Triacta Nigeria Limited. That's along, that's the bridge between Kano, Katsina. Then in the northwest zone, we also handled the emergency repair and embankment washout at kilometer 16 plus 200 along Ribau Wago roads in Kebbi State. We also carried out in the southeast zone the general maintenance repair of sections along Owerri Okigwe Road in Imo State. We have also done the repairs of failed sections along Owutu Amasri Okposi Road in Ebonyi State. These are all projects that are in progress, you'll see in the slide. It is pertinent to mention some of these as specific jobs executed by the agency within this period of transformation efforts. The washout of culvert location at Chenage 450 along Kaduna Western Bypass. This is a very recent development. So on 3 or 4, it was reported that sections of that road were severely washed out, and a flood that took the life of a little child. And the work is nearly completed. Recently, along the Asaba-Ebu-Ilushi Road in Delta State, there is also a big box culvert that subsided after a heavy downpour. FERMA has intervened proactively and the work is in progress. That box culvert has been reinstated. Last week, because of the intensive rainfall of the year, we also had, I hope the slides are showing, we had the need to intervene between Gombe, and Bauchi. That road was cut virtually into two, and movement of traffic was very difficult. And since that 2 weeks till now, FERMA have commenced the reinstatement program and is virtually completed. If you look at the slide, you see the work in progress. If you look at the other slide, the next slide to that, still on bridges and washouts, because this is occurring a lot in the year 2004. A lot of areas of federal highways have been washed out, high embankments. You will look at the washout bridge approach along Shendam Yelwa Ibi Road in Plateau State. That was a washout that occurred, and communication was impossible between the towns along the federal highway. We have been able to reinstate it, and then the road has been fully put back to use. The next slide will show you the other sections. Yes, very, very serious washout along kilometer 15+025, also in Plateau State, Larin Tokim Road. That has been reinstated by FERMA. There are numerous such locations, including the interchange at Enugu. You go to that slide. Reinstatement of washout and collapse triple cell box culvert. And these are programs that, if not for the intervention of the agency, these are roads that will have become very impassable by now. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the agency is quick intervention on incidents of hoodlums and accidents on federal highways. You will see some of those buildings in the slide. So those are some of the programs of the road support programs we have done. And these are buildings all over the country. We have about 90 of them or 96 of them now that have been commissioned and fully put to use. The next slide will show you the coal asphalt production plant in Kuje that the agency has been put in place for the production of coal asphalt for distribution to ensure quick intervention on road failures. You will also find some of the road support services of the agency that include, highway lighting. For instance, the distance between Asaba and Onitsha, the highway gets very dark, and the agency has been able to provide the lighting facilities, and you see that on the slide, the highway bridge lighting. They have also provided similar lighting along the Nasarawa interchange. You will see that on the slide. Recently, the agency commenced collaboration with the Shopee, and the program, like the Honorable Minister have mentioned, was aimed at mobilizing youths that will be engaged all year round in road maintenance activities. Today we have about 7,700 of such youths engaged in road maintenance activities. Under the Shopee program, the replacement of damaged handrails, bridge handrails, a lot of them have been done between Zaria and Kaduna. You will see some of them on the slide. Some of them have been replaced with reinforced concrete handrails, and others have been replaced with new JC reflective barriers. For want of time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly go on to say that in this past period, the agency, in spite of all challenges, have done a lot in ensuring that Nigerians witness an era of driving through most of our critical routes without potholes. In conclusion, I will look at what I have put down here as the then and now situation. Then, projects commenced, but completion dates were most unrealistic. Now, many projects are completed before due dates. Then, massive clearing and earthworks were done and paid for, but becomes only gullies after each rainy season. Now, payments are mainly for protected works in line with the recent directive of the ministry. Then the cry was to declare a state of emergency on our roads. Now the remark is that the roads are better. Then you will start your trip but never predicted your arrival time. Now you can predict arrival time from origin to destination. In the past, passengers do not fall asleep while drivers move due to potholes and a lot of discomfort. Now, along federal roads in Nigeria, you are free to snore as the drivers move. It is also necessary to say here that a lot has been done, more is required to be done, but put together, transformation on road subsector is outstanding and is showing for everybody to see. We are, however, determined to move further and forward together. Thank you.